Today we are going to start a new chapter, and this chapter is property plan and equipment, and it is about the IAS 16. Well, IAS 16 is the International Accounting Standard number 16. And actually today we are going to cover part 1 of that standard, and later on we are going to cover part 2. What is the main objective and scope of IAS 16? The IAS 16 standard for recognition and de-recognition of property, plan, and equipment. Recognition and de-recognition of property, plan, and equipment. Assets, measurement, and after acquisition and disclosure. Every standard has 3 main topics. First of all is the recognition, measurement, and disclosure. Recognition, measurement, and disclosure. Recognition is the scope of the standard that's telling me what are the main topics that will be covered by that standard. Okay, and the measurement, how it will be giving a value. 3, disclosure, what will be disclosed in the financial statements. What is scoped out? يعني what is not under the scope of that standard. طيب, assets held for sale is not under the scope of that standard. Agriculture, biological assets برضو still not under that standard. Non-renewable natural resources right and reserve out of that standard. This standard include investment property under construction and when ready if cost model applied. يعني investment property under construction. If you are doing a construction for one of your assets, this will be accounted for under IAS 16, which is property, plan, and equipment. Very good. Right. In order to understand what do you mean by PPE, lower property, plan, and equipment, we have to define what is the long-term assets. Long-term assets that have useful life greater than 1 year. Greater than 1 year. This is the first condition. And acquired for use in operation and not intended for resale to customer. يبقى long-term assets is asset useful life بتاعها is greater than 1 year, will last with you for more than 1 year, will be used in operation, not intended for resale. يعني you didn't acquire it to resell it for customers. Okay, you didn't acquire it for selling to the customer, and are reporting at carrying value. Carrying value. What is carrying value? Carrying value is the book value. The book value. Type. And what is book value? Book value is cost minus accumulated depreciation. The carrying value is the same as the book value. It is cost minus accumulated depreciation. Right. Information about long-term acquisition can be found under investing activity in the statement of cash flow. يعني في الكاش فلو احنا we have 3 categories. We have cash from operating activity, cash from investing activity, and cash from financing activity. The part related to the investment or the acquisition or payment or selling of long-term asset will be under the investing activity. It is helpful to think of a long-term asset as long-term prepaid expenses, because actually you are paying for an asset in order to use it in the future. And we have to spread the cost of this service provided by the asset over its useful life. And this is what we do in calculating the depreciation. And at the service benefit, the company, the cost of the assets become expenses. Okay, and this is the depreciation that we talked about before. What are the main characteristics of the long-term assets? احنا بقى we said long-term have a useful life of more than 1 year. Second, acquired for use in operation. 3, not intended to resale to customers. Those are the main characteristics of the long-term assets. Right. What are the main cost elements to find out the cost of an asset. طيب يعني when you purchase an asset, how to find out the cost that will be recorded in the books? The first to be taken into consideration is the purchase price. Purchase price, the value that you paid in order to acquire the asset, net of all discounts. If you got a discount, you have to exclude it. خلاص. Rebates, some specific allowances to be given from the seller. Add non-recoverable taxes. If you have any taxes or duties, like when you import something from abroad, then you have to add it to the cost of the asset. Number two, cost to get in place and ready to use as management intended. Any cost that will be incurred in order to find out the cost or to make the asset ready for use, actually this will be added to the cost of the asset. Cost of obligation to decommission assets and restore site as a result of acquiring the asset, it will be added as a cost, which means any cost that will be incurred to make the site that you are going to construct the asset at or to install the asset at, to make it ready for that asset to work, it will be added to the cost of that asset. Okay. What to exclude? يعني what are the types of the costs that we can exclude from the cost of the asset? Cost element to exclude: cost after sale in place and ready for use as management intended. يعني whenever an asset is ready to use and you started to use it, any cost that will be incurred after that will not be included or will not be added to the cost. It will be considered as expense. خلاص. طبعا except for if it is a capital expenditure, وده احنا we are going to deal with it at the end of the chapter. لكن any normal cost that will be incurred after the asset started to be used, that will not be considered part of the cost. طيب. Cost to open a new facility or introduce a product or move to new location. يعني after you installed the machine, انت you decided مثلا to move من ال 6 of October district مثلا لل 10th of Ramadan district. فاكشولي واخد بالك this is relocation. The cost of doing that is not part of the cost of the asset. It is not part of the cost of the asset. أو إن حضرتك you relocated the machine inside the factory. يعني مثلا the machine was on the left, فأنت you will move it to the right. So this is another cost that will not be added to the cost of the asset. General and administrative overhead type cost. Any general administrative overhead cost will not be added. يعني cost of the supervisor, خلاص, that is supervising over the working of that machine will not be considered part of that. خلاص. Electricity is not part of the cost of the asset. خلاص, and so on. طيب, let's take an example for land مثلا. يعني if I would like to find out the cost of land, what the types of cost to be included, the same as we said now. Include all costs to acquire land and ready it for use. Type purchase price, okay. Closing costs such as title to the land, attorney fees, and recording fees. Cost of grading, filling, draining, clearing, اللي هو السايت that we are going to go for. Assumptions of any liens, mortgage, or encumbrances on the property. يعني the land that you purchase مثلا is used as a collateral for a loan by the original owner of the company or landlord of the company of the land. يبقى actually هنا you have to pay for the bank in order to clear the title of the land in order to be owned by you. Any additional بقى land improvements that have indefinite life, anything that will be خلاص constructed او بلاش constructed will be done on the land, واخد بال حضرتك, and it has indefinite life, it can be added to كويس that cost of the land. cost of land بقى هو هنا cost of land improvement. يعني هنا I'm talking about the improvement او land improvement. Land improvement, it has a limited life, okay, such as بقى private driveways, walks, fences, parking lots, and it is recorded as a separate asset called land improvement, and it must be depreciated. ما هو as long as انها it has limited life يبقى it must be ايه؟ depreciated. طيب, so the land acquired and held for speculation is classified as investment. If you are going to purchase that land and you would like to resell it again, will be considered as an investment and it is out of that standard. The land held by a real estate company for resale will be considered as inventory. And if the company main operation is to buy land and resell it, like the real estate company, so actually in that case the land will be considered as inventory. Okay, not under that standard, but under the inventory standard. Cost of building, the same will be applied. All costs related directly to acquisition or construction, and it will include, طبعا لو انت are going to construct the building, you will include material, labor, overhead cost, خلاص, that has been incurred during the construction, and the professional fees and building permits. يعني in order to build you have to get a permit from the government. انت حضرتك you are paying for getting that permit, يبقى this will be added to, واخد بال حضرتك, the cost of ايه؟ of building. Professional fees, you are hiring an architect, كويس, in order to make you designs. All of this will be considered as part of the building. طيب, the third example, cost of equipment, purchase price. Okay, freight and handling charge, يعني انت you are purchasing مثلا equipment from abroad. So in order to get مثلا the equipment here in Egypt, فانت you need مثلا someone to send it, to transport it from outside, from abroad to us. خلاص؟ Okay, يبقى this will be added to the cost of ايه؟ of the equipment. Insurance on the equipment while in transit, يعني while it is shipped from abroad, you have to have insurance on that equipment. Just in case something bad happened, you will be covered, not to lose all your money. يبقى insurance in transit will be considered part of the equipment. Like cost of special foundation, and this is what we just explained. لو انت you need special preparation or installation or foundation, واخد بال حضرتك, for the land, for the equipment, it will be added to the cost. Assembling and installation, يعني the equipment will coming into parts and you are going to assemble here. But it will cost me money to get someone to assemble it here. This will be considered part of the cost of the equipment. Cost of conducting trial runs, اللي هو whenever you are installing the machine or the equipment, you are going to run it, to try it, to test it. These trial runs, these test runs will be considered as part of the equipment. هو هنا is considering your opinion regarding which of this item will be considered as part of the cost of the equipment. يعني هو is saying that situation equipment $100 cost, 7% sales tax, $10 to transport to plant, $5 storage cost, كويس, $3 labor, $2 material to calibrate the machine, $4 recovered from trial run production, used 50% of the capacity, the cost was $50, sales was $55, $11 to consultant for service related to choice of machine and calibration, $1 interest cost during 1 month's storage. Which of this will be considered part of the cost of the equipment? طيب, الايكويبمنت كوست طبعا ال 100 اللي هي الكوست بلس ال $7 اللي هي السيلز ايه؟ سيلز تاكس. الترانسبورتيشن اوف كورس ويل بي تيكن. اوف كورس كمان الكاليبريشن خلاص ويل بي تيكن اللي هم ال $3. ال $3 وال $2 minus 4 and I will tell you what is the minus 4 now. Okay, and the professional fees. يعني let's go back. احنا we got الايه؟ we got ال $3 and $2 and he said ان $4 recovered from trial run production. يعني حضرتك you started the trial run and some prototype has been produced and you sold them for $4. فاحنا we have to subtract it. We have to ايه؟ to subtract it. طيب and the professional fees for calibration. كويس؟ professional fees for calibration. It will be taken into consideration. يبقى ال total cost is 129 ايه كده again, I would like to test your understanding, and here he is saying that the expenditures and the receipts below are related to land. Related to land. Land improvement. يبقى أنا I have land. Land improvement, building acquired for use in a business enterprise. Determine how the following should be classified. يعني he is asking you for each of these statements, خلاص, how you are going to classify it. Okay? طيب, very good. We were talking about the different types of classification for the different types of costs that you are going to face in that. طيب, by that we are going to stop and we are going to complete next إن شاء الله class.